Hello, everybody. 2026 is here. I think we have to do the jazz hands moment, really. 2026, my goodness me, I quite like even numbered years. So I've got great hopes for this year. My name is Sam, and this is With Wisdom, and we are here in the third week of January with our lovely guests. We'll introduce in a moment. It's Sam, and also my co-host Gabby. Gabby, how are you? And how is January getting to you right now?
Oh,
Is it jazz
hi,
hands?
hi, hi, Sam, and hi, Sam. Welcome here. I'm delighted to be starting our my 26 with you both, and getting to know a little bit more from Sam. For me, January is always one of my favorite months of the year because it's my birthday month, and
Ah,
26 is my birthday day. So I like also quite the number for starting the for this year. So yeah, welcome, Sam. It's a pleasure to have you here, and I'm really, really curious to get to know you. So if you could like let us know how is January starting for you and a bit about you and your work, that would be wonderful.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for the welcome and for the invitation. January is a good year for new beginnings, and lots of people like to get their tarot cards out, and that's
mm,
my specialty. That's what I love to do, pull cards. I'm a psychosynthesis psychologist, and I have developed a framework, a psychological framework to pull tarot so that we can all connect to what's happening inwardly in a more grounded, intuitive way. So, yeah, the beginning of a year is always a great time to be exploring what the potential of the year ahead has in store for you through the cards, through the archetypes. So, yeah.
mm. Psychosynthesis, that's a complicated word. Is
Right.
there an easy explanation rather than our viewers going off to the dictionary?
Okay. So psychosynthesis, born on the shoulders of psychoanalysis. So maybe 10, 15 years later, not many. So the Italian man, Roberto Assagioli, who developed the theory of psychosynthesis, was a contemporary of Freud and Jung. And he really developed the idea that, yes, we have all this stuff that is happening in our backstory. And Freud talked a lot about repression. Jung talked more about unconscious. And Assagioli talked about potential and the
Mm.
synthesis of the psyche. So, not just knowing it, but synthesizing all aspects of self for a more harmonious experience of self. And that includes the call of self, the call to become, the higher self, the superconscious energies, as well as the other lower unconscious, middle unconscious energies. So it's a real integration of mind, body, spirit, and it seeks to ground and explain perhaps an experience, a peak experience. Maslow was talking in his hierarchy of needs about self-actualization, self-realization, and that was all
Mhm.
based on um, interviews and experiences with humans who are having these peak moments, and like, what is this peak experience that we can have as humans, and where does that fit into a psychology of being, or meditation, or connecting to spirit, or the great mystery, we all know there's a great mystery, but where's the psychological model, he said, that sort of gets us there. Jung obviously made great strides towards it, and Assagioli, yeah, he's created a beautiful model of self that incorporates and includes all aspects of self. And he said the biggest limitation with this psychological theory is there are no limits, because of course every human being has a different experience of self, and yet it can be expressed within his psychological models. So it's been life-changing for me.
Yeah, I can really feel that kind of energy coming off you. So tell
Mm.
us a little bit more. I mean, how has it changed your life?
Oh gosh, how has it changed my life? It's given me a grounding and a sense of who I am
Mm,
without being stuck in the story of
Mm.
who I thought I was.
lovely.
And that means that, of course, there's a story that I carry. And of course it is tender, complex, and has been tough. And I'm able to, as well, equally disidentify from this story and identify in a way where I can observe and be with that part of me as a part of me, but not all of me. So it's been a process of identification, disidentification. It happens, of course, across years, but it happens across weeks, hours, minutes. You know, it happens across a day where I might suddenly feel like, oh my God, I can't stop working hard. And then, okay, I'm really noticing that this tendency that I have to really sort of get down and get on with work and lose myself in work. Let's disidentify. That's just a part of me that gets like that when I'm anxious, when I don't know the future, when I'm trying to control an outcome. Oh, that's hard. Sit with myself and then move on. So it's just creating that space between the experience and it creates a more grounded, harmonious life. I have been doing it alongside another. I do want to say this because it is also part of my story, is that I was born around a story of addiction and alcohol in my family unit. And I also joined a fellowship of friends and families of alcoholics called Al-Anon 10 years ago, at the same time as I discovered psychosynthesis. And what the 12 steps offers is a 12-step journey of psychosynthesis. It is one and the same. It's the same principles of discovering who you are, discovering how to be compassionate towards yourself, how to make amends, how to develop a spiritual practice, belief in a higher power, a power greater than yourself that can restore you to sanity. If your listeners want to liken psychosynthesis to anything, they can discover it in a 12-step program.
Wow.
Yeah, listening to you, I remember, what you're telling. It's I don't know if you know Richard Rohr. He's a priest, a Franciscan priest in United States, and he has a center that is called Center for Action and Contemplation. And there's a book called Breathing Underwater, where he uses the 12 steps framework for a spiritual, or not only for spirituals. He postulates that we are all addicted in many ways, not only in the substance addiction that we know, but also to our what he calls stinky thinking.
Yeah, right. Stinky thinking, exactly. Yeah,
that's a lovely phrase.
Yeah, and I did it some years ago through my process these years. And it has been also life-changing. I'm like you. I mean, I come from different stories background. My mom was ill and had schizophrenia, and then you realize you develop many strategies to cope with all of that get into the direction of being obsessive about the strategies or the behavior an addiction creates. And this kind of framework, and especially the perspective of a higher power.
Right.
That not everything depends on yourself. It's freeing.
It is freeing. It really is.
Yeah.
And again, this is very central to the psychosynthesis model of self. We are always connected to a limitless experience of self, because within us all, as we most likely all in this room and our listeners as well will have experienced, there is an aspect of self that is timeless and genderless, that is constant. Yeah. So we have this universality within us. This let's call it higher self, true essence. It lives within us. Now, this was the reality that Assagioli said existed, whereas Jung said, oh, it's just a projection. But Assagioli said, no, this is part of self. So we can experience this higher self, true essence, through ourself, because ourself is the only vehicle through which it can be expressed. And it is also the gateway to universality, to higher power, to listening deeply within, and to receiving and receiving from something that is beyond, and accepting that it's not all down to me to fix it. I didn't cause it, I can't cure it, I can't control it. One of the things from Al-Anon. Because it's quite narcissistic to think that it is all down.
That we have to do everything ourselves, and we are the ones who caused it, and we're the ones who've got to fix it all.
Or even all this control freak world that we live in. No, we see the consequences of thinking about that everything is down to us, right? That we create all machines and technologies to control life and cycles and pain, and see how we are doing with that, right? And I'm curious, you said that you came across 10 years ago, so it means you were on a different path, or were you already on the path of psychology? And how it comes that you came to a path that also, that for me is quite new, Asayoli. I didn't know him. I heard about Jung and Freud, but so how it came into your life, if you could share.
Yeah, my life was incredibly different back then. I was surrounded by alcoholics who were in active addiction, all of my inner circle. And I was working really hard at my career, and I was very unhappy. I knew I needed something different. I didn't quite know how to get there. Actually, what happened is I separated from my now ex-husband, and that propelled me onto a new path. I got a therapist, and I joined Al-Anon, and my therapist happened to be Psychosynthesis. Well, I say happened to be. I asked a friend for advice. Do you know any good therapists? And she connected me with this therapist. I didn't know that my friend had a history with psychosynthesis. Her mum used to teach at the Psychosynthesis Institute in North London in Hendon. And she herself had just started a course in psychosynthesis. After about a year of being in psychosynthesis therapy, having been in therapy all my life, I was like, what is happening here? This is different. Something's, what are you doing? And I remember she just sort of shrugged like this. I got curious about the modality, and I felt a call of service. I wanted to help others. I was afraid that perhaps that was a little bit enmeshed with my codependent behavior, because growing up around alcoholism, obviously, I have issues with codependency. It's something I'm recovering from in Al-Anon. So I wanted to explore a coaching pathway where I could do a really deep dive in order to explore whether or not this was actually just me being codependent and wanting to caretake other people, or whether it was a true back then I thought a true calling. What does it mean to be called to service? The thing that I was exploring on the Psychosynthesis coaching course, which actually ended up as a master's degree. And I wrote a thesis, and, I did, in fact, it was 5-6 years of study in the end, because I then went on to become a psychosynthesis leadership coach, life coach, and always holding this question, what does it mean to be of service? And I discovered that to be of service is actually to be of service to me first and foremost. Because if I can continue to be on this path of self-discovery and personal growth, carrying not perfection but progress, and the will to learn and grow continually in service of myself whilst holding space for others. That's the shift that happened for me, is discovering that it's not just about the person who's in the room. It's about meeting them in their woundedness and staying in that journey myself. So, yeah.
Oh my goodness me, there's a lot there that we could spend a long time unpicking. So wonderful. And it's
Oh,
so lovely to meet somebody and be with somebody in this space who has taken that journey and
Mm.
has answered that call and through your work with your clients is answering that call each time in every session, in every meeting, in every kind of interaction.
Mm.
So if I'm going to ask you the question, but also maybe you could answer a little bit with where tarot comes in.
Right.
So what wisdom do you draw on for your work? Now you've talked quite a bit about things that you are definitely drawing on in terms of knowledge, but what wisdom do you draw on for your work now?
Well, I think it's an interesting question. There's so many ways I could answer that, but I suppose the wisdom of getting out the way of just getting out the way.
Mm.
So trusting that I'm not arriving at a tarot table, shuffling the deck on my own, but
Mm-hmm.
connected to higher power, super conscious energies, as well as the very grounded depth training that I have done in the robustness of that training.
Yes.
But essentially, I say an opening prayer every time, may I be an open channel to you so that I may receive your guidance. I'm just a conduit, I'm just a vessel. And of course, I'm a human being and I have life experience but I guess I trust that some of the words I use, some of the words that pop in my head, some of the sort of tangents that come in, and I don't know where they come from, but I go there and I trust, and then the conversation, using the cards as a prompts and using the experience that that the client is bringing into the room as well as a prompt, like really going on a journey together. So I'm a guide. I'm a guide.
Mm.
I'm already on this journey, and being a guide to others as they embark on their own journey. Really, that's the
Mm.
I liked all what you share because it brings me back again to where we are situated in time in this year starting and reflects on the way I have been starting my years in the past in the past years in the sense that is it's allowing what is wanting to unfold to be unfold, right, to have the energetic disposition to be with what is present and to let it develop, right, and that's how it sends you do your work and it's a kind of attitude that it might be of use or help for approaching a start of the year, right.
yeah. It
Yeah.
may feel a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, because we are not in control. And for me, it was quite a shift. I have been like wrapping up and doing reflections on starting my year, I think over the 8, 9 years over already. And I have shifted from like writing quite a detailed like expectations or goals that I used to call, and now I have moved, and at the beginning it was quite uncomfortable to move to that, and I was thinking maybe I'm becoming lazy because I don't want to put like fixed goals and things, but I work more in the kind of energetic state I am in, and where is my intention and focus, and where is my guiding. Sometimes there's a word that emerges for the year, for a virtue I want to cultivate, and then what I do the rest of the year is just to pay attention, just not, but to pay attention, where are the opportunities to learn from this quality or this virtue, and how I can like cultivate it in myself and let it be in my life. So
And maybe where you reach the tension points. I mean, that's
yeah.
certainly is for me. There's like an allow,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's this moment. What happens now? Yeah, I mean, it is a different way to be, and it is very somatic, because it's like all about being able to hold
Yes,
that
body.
feeling in the body.
Mm.
Perhaps one of the reasons, confession time, one of the reasons why I like pulling cards is because that feels a bit uncomfortable for me, and I like to pull cards and go, ah, because sometimes the cards can be like, yeah, this is a shit show right now. And even that is like, oh, thank God, it's not just me. But sometimes the cards are like, oh, time to regroup. This is what's necessary.
Mm.
In some ways, the cards help me to be with the discomfort.
Yes, that's lovely. I would agree with that bit, definitely. For me, sometimes it's like, okay, I know this is here, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And you talked about that. Oh my gosh, it's gone out of my head. And when you take that step back, you use the phrase disidentification. So you're disidentifying. So it's something with the tarot, I think, when you can actually do that disidentification piece, take a pause, step back, see so you're over here and you're just viewing this part of me that is feeling this, and putting it into a context of what now? What do I need to do right now at this moment? What does my body need? What do I need to do to sort of ground myself? And you've used that word a number of times, ground. So you use tarot to ground.
I do.
Yes. And I wanted to pick that up because I kind of know a little bit about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like the word. So the tarot modality that I've developed is called ground and rise. Ground and rise.
Wow.
Ground is so important because you can't leave yourself behind with this. It's really easy to get in the head, or to get or hand over will. The important piece is to ground in the reality first, in order that all of you comes along. You don't leave any bits behind, right? Because we don't want to be splitting off. This is about remembering. Yeah. So and for me as well, tarot, pulling cards is very connecting. My father died when I was 18, and my mum's an alcoholic, so I didn't have any parental guidance, and for me, pulling cards was a way to feel close to my dad, whatever that meant, like guidance, some guidance, and trusting that. Yeah, it was a very sort of externalized trust, like a blanket faith that someone had their eye on me, And now, I mean, I really feel connected, obviously, to my dad still, and to people who I've lost in my life, and I feel their support through the card pulls. And I'm also very present with my own agency.
Yeah.
Which includes like, well, I don't understand what that means. Like, doesn't matter. It could be anything, but just being with my experience of self in the experience of pulling cards. So yeah, and I think, well, I know that that came when I applied the psychosynthesis framework onto pulling the tarot cards. That's when everything came alive for me, and that's what I do now. That's how I engage with clients, is through this framework of psychosynthesis and tarot, and bringing it all together in one place, just to have this embodied, grounded experience of self and potential and connection to great mystery and all of it. Yeah.
Sounds amazing.
Wow. Yeah, I'm really amazed and in awe with your work and what you're doing. So thank you so much, Sam. It sounds like a path of integration, of having the whole self in the journey of life. And in this journey of life, we draw from some wisdom, like Sam already asked you, and we live in our present moment, and sometimes and that's part of the framework we use in this space, is to think about what we are doing now, how is that contributing to the legacy, or to what we are leaving behind for others, or we are giving to others. So the question would be for you, how is the way you are living nowadays building up on your desired or expected legacy? Have you thought about it, about legacy, or what you are gifting and giving the world?
I mean, I feel deeply honored to be working this way. So any person who walks through the door, I feel very honored, because I really use this modality myself all the time, and it has great value. So to share it is extraordinary. And I think that in this time of uncertainty, where the world feels so uncertain, knowing yourself is the most important. I was going to use the word defense. That's an interesting word to choose. There is, in some ways, a call of, where do you stand? Where do you stand in all of this? And if you had to stand next to someone, who would you stand next to? Those questions, and it's actually very localized. In that context, my legacy, I believe, is in the one-to-one work and the localized work of just being with my own experience of knowing myself and knowing where I stand, in order to bring that to the neighbor who says, oh, hey, Sam, I see what you're doing over there. That looks cool. Can I come and experience it? And then in some way, hopefully through their experience, they'll then learn where they stand. And so it's very small. It doesn't, taking on the world, oh gosh, it's exhausting just thinking about it. It feels impossible. And I do know myself, I'm getting to know myself. And I know where I would stand if, and who I want near me. And that's so that I suppose it's about the sort of micro aspect of legacy, in order to hopefully
impact the wider community and the wider world.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Sam. Oh, there's a lot here. There's so much, and I think this is giving our viewers a really good sense of who you are and how you work, and what you're using in your work. But we also know that you have that love of tarot, and so do we. So do we. I know, and we've also got a watch time as well. Certainly my relationship with the tarot has kind of evolved over years, and I have talked about this with you in the past, Sam. And I pull a card every Sunday with my husband. Every Sunday morning, we sit in bed. The first thing we do on a Sunday morning is we pull a card. We each have our own deck now, and it's such a lovely thing to do. And we look at the card, and we're very much in the present moment. What's going on with you right now with this card? It's not anything about divination. It's more about now and what's going on, and which part of you might be kind of feeling, as we've talked about parts, might be feeling that in need of some kind of extra care and compassion over the week. Maybe make the week to come, and then it's done. It's not any more than that, which I absolutely love. And it's a way of keeping connected as well, I think, as well, in our relationship. And then the other way I use the tarot is that in between Christmas and New Year, so I've already done this, I will pick a card every day after Christmas Day, just because. And I do it with a sense of connecting. It is about the future. So I'll pick a card for January, and I use nature. I connect with an element of nature, and it comes from a particular piece of work, which I will put in the show notes because it's gone out of my head now, the person who it's come from. And I notice something in nature. So it's usually first thing in the morning when I do this. I'm on my own. It's very quiet. And then I have a thought about that month, what might be coming up. Who knows the future, but what might be coming up that I think might be coming up in my life for that month. And I do this for the 12 days in between Christmas and I think around the sort of first week of January. And then it's like left, and I'll pick it up in the year and I'll read it and go, oh, that's really interesting. And the affirmations that I write, an affirmation for that month, sometimes they're really, really relevant. And it's about just putting something out there into the world, a thought. I wouldn't say it's manifestation, but something around this might be there, and seeing whether that happens. And it's the natural world connection. I think that's the most important for me. So those are the two ways that I kind of use tarot in my life. What about you, Gabby? Do you use it? You use it every day.
Well, it's tarot. I must confess, I like it, but I'm not so quite acquainted with tarot. I have a more close relationship with the runes. But I use many things. I actually, what I do is, even when I meditate or after my Qigong or Bagua training, for example, in the past weeks, I have been, after the training, taking the I Ching, and I connect to the I Ching, and I have been developing a way of asking, and I have been asking, like, right now, what is the most important attitude or quality or approach for whatever is present in my life? And then I let the hexagram to tell me, and I just have it with me through the week or through the days, and start to feel it and start to sense it. And for the beginning of the year, I pull a card from one of the oracles, or maybe the tarot. I have a friend, she's a tarot reader, so sometimes she pulls a card for me, and just let it sink, and sense it and feel it and bring it with me. And it feels also like a talisman which accompanies me through the year. And I live and experience the many facets of that energy, or that archetype, that might be handy and useful for different situations. So yeah, that's kind of my relationship with it. What about you, Sam? I'm curious about, because from what you shared, I sense that you have had a relationship with tarot reading longer than with the psychosynthesis psychology, right? Or no?
Oh, that's surprising.
Yeah, I've always had a relationship with cards and oracle teaching. I'm pointing to my I Ching. The tarot felt way too big and intimidating, so I never touched it. I sort of dabbled in it when I was 20, but for a very short period of time. In fact, my husband said, "You need to put that away. No, that's not. We don't want that around." So, but not that it was his kind of, but those sorts of conversations happen with tarot. It can be a bit,
people get scared of it.
Yeah.
Yes, woo-woo.
Yeah. But no, I had when I was on my psychosynthesis master's degree, I was in my thesis year, just deciding what to do for my thesis. And I had a dream, literally, that I was going to create a deck, an oracle deck of my own.
Wow. I just had goosebumps.
So I was like, oh, well, maybe that's what I should do for my thesis. I should create a deck of cards. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do that, I had better figure out the tarot, because that's going to inform a lot. And my brother passed away during COVID. He left me a very small amount of money, and it was just the same amount of money as it cost to join the Tarot Academy. And so with his permission, I don't know if I would have invested in myself in that way. I joined a tarot academy to learn the tarot properly. And then I basically, I never went on to, I haven't yet gone on to create the deck. Instead, I was like, this is amazing. Tarot was plus psychosynthesis was just like, oh my gosh, this is a gateway to connection to self, connection to others, connection to spirit, connection. And that's this has been my life's work since. So this framework of ground and rise, and what how I'm sharing it with coaches and therapists, and whoever it's just very heart expansive. So I've been studying it since 2021. So
Wow.
for 5 years now.
Wow.
But it feels like it's in your bones, as I say, and when I have met Sam in real life, and I can kind of almost sense that kind of wisdom through you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, we're coming towards the end, and I have a tarot deck in front of me, and so does Gabby, and I think you have too. Would you, Sam, be ready to pull a card for With Wisdom? Because I feel like With Wisdom is kind of feels like it's got its own sense of self now. And what do you think, Gabby? Maybe we can have a card for With Wisdom for 2026. That would be wonderful. And then maybe we could pull our own card each. You pulled the Fool! Oh my God!
Saying, I can't seen it. It jumped up. I was really holding the with Wisdom community in my heart and listening to you, and this jumped out. There you go.
I love the Fool.
Yeah, this is the first card in the deck of tarot. It is numbered 0, which means that it's the first and the last, actually, which speaks to the cycle of things. And the Fool is walking towards a future with their head in up above. They don't actually know where the ground's going to meet them, but we can trust that the ground will meet them. The Fool is the archetypal energy of having the courage to move forwards without actually knowing where you're going yet, but just knowing that there's a calling to go. And the Fool has with them all they need in their knapsack, all they need. You don't need much in order to make that move. And also his loyal friend, the dog, who's there with him. So whoever, maybe this is an invitation for the community to really connect with what is that courageous step that you don't know where it's going to take you yet, but you are feeling it. You are feeling it. Who is there with you, like supporting you to say, come on, go for it. You're ready. That readiness to go, you've already got everything you need. This Fool has come from somewhere because they've also collected a white rose, this beautiful symbolism of hope, of purity of thought, of just do it, I'd say.
Listen, I know we've run out of time, and I really want to pull a card. I also know that you need to be ready for something else.
Lovely. Yeah, it's been really wonderful to be here, and quite magical as well.
I know, and I am holding on to the Fool. Gabby, what a joy for With Wisdom to take us through the year.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sam. It has been a great gift to meet you for starting my year and for starting the year of our community. And looking forward to the paths that are opening this year for all of us. And maybe we get to meet someday in person.
Yes, I'd like that very much. It's lovely to be here this morning, ladies.
Thank you, Sam, so much, everybody. Like, listen, comment, share. This is an episode I think is well worth sharing with your networks, because I think it gives that real energy of hope for the future. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.